So we have some absolutely massive changes coming in 7.01, and I'm so excited about them. To start off, we have Chronicles of a New Era. These quests, I'm assuming, are the raid series quests that lead us into the Arcadian. I'm only assuming that because this is the little guy we saw on the front of the GPU and that giant screen when they were re-announcing the reopening of the Arcadian. So just the name of the first quest, a new challenger appears, just a bunch of information showing us how many quests there'll be to get into it. We have new Orchestrion rolls for housing, and then new triple triad cards for the Manderville Gold Saucer. And then we have a ton of job changes, and I am so incredibly excited about them. To start off, all the tanks got immunity increased on all of their basic AoE combos, and Dark Knight and Gunbreaker got it on Trajectory and Shadow Stride. Warrior did get a small change. They got Primal Rens. Primal Ren Ready was reduced from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. And then Primal Urination had a potency increase of 40 from 740 to 780. But for tanks, this is all just making it a lot easier, so people like Pictomancers and Vipers having these really big burst windows aren't stealing enmity in these trash packs in the newer dungeons when we're all kind of like struggling to get through them ourselves half the time. The biggest thing, though, is the monk changes. Overall, I'll let you look at them on screen. It's a lot to read through, but overall, this is pretty much just direct buffs to monk as a whole. There was a couple of potency decreases. Snap Punch on its basic Snap Punch from 300 to 270, and the flank from 360 to 330. That was reduced, but the Coral's Fury did get a buff of 20 potency for each. Only other big things in this was the Dragon Kick. Stacks from Oppo Oppo's Fury are only granted while in Obo Oppo form. And then for Tornado Kick, going from 850 potency all the way up to 1200 potency. Everything else is just potency buffs, and then Pouncing Curl is the same thing as Snap Punch. The regular versions got a 30 potency reduction, and then the regular and flank of the enhanced forms in Curl's Fury go up by 20 potency. Both Tendos, the Tendo Setsugeka and Tendo Kaishi Setsugeka, both got a recast time reduction from 3.2 to 2.5 seconds. I haven't played much Samurai, so I don't know for sure if this is like directly a potency buff, just in the amount of time they can use it during like burst windows and everything, or if this is just a quality of life thing to make it feel less clunky. I'm not 100% sure. I've never been a super deep dive Samurai player to understand all of it. But then we get to my absolute favorite thing on these patch notes, the Viper changes. Death Rattle, Twin Fang Bite, and Twin Blood Bite, along with first, second, third, and fourth generation, all got a range increase from 3 to 5 yalms. Basically, that means I don't have to sit and worry about getting hit by every single AoE and not be able to see anything because of all the flashing blue lights during my burst windows. I don't have to sit underneath enemies just to make sure that I'm able to actually use my skills. So I am so insanely excited to actually have a little bit more comfort space for those, not having to move in and out so much to like actually be able to use my abilities. For Black Mage, this is a quality of life thing just to make it more accessible and also more consistent at lower levels, giving Umbral Soul at level 35 instead of 76 now. Red Mage's Manification, the duration was increased from 15 to 30 seconds. And then the other thing that I'm so super excited about, they're working on fixing the drift for the card draw system, and also light speed change. Massive light speed change. Now it's a 2-charge action with a recast timer of 60 seconds. So no more 90-second window of, do I hold it? Do I not hold it? When do I use it? This is just such a good change for Astrologian. And I'm so unbelievably excited because this means they can have more consistent damage. They don't have to worry about mistiming their light speed or it drifting. They can just do it every 60 seconds, have their own little burst window, and it just be so much smoother. And then Macrocosmos got a potency buff of 20 from 250 to 270. I'm not 100% sure what the monk changes here. The maximum stacks of Raptor's Fury and Carl's Fury have both been reduced by 1. Raptor's from 2 to 1 and Carl's from 3 to 2. We have even bigger news with the raid dungeon. The AAC light heavyweight tier has been added. This absolutely looks crazy. This arena is going to be insane. This gives me like Pokemon Sword and Shield vibes of being in a gym battle with that really like catchy music playing in the background constantly. I am unbelievably excited to hear the sound design of this place and hear the soundtrack that they have for this raid series. I am so excited. But this is basically just saying, put that quest line at the top. That is your raid quest line. That's what's going to get you into the Arcadian. And normal stuff, the accessories will cost 1, feet 2, hands 2, head 2, and then body and legs will be 4. Upon completing a C light heavyweight M4, players can also earn a light heavy hollow blade once per week. So it's still once per week on the specific drop of the 4th fight, and that will get us a universal tombstone, which can be exchanged for the weapons later down the line. M1, M2, M3, and M4. I'm curious what the M is supposed to stand for. 685, so we'll need to be 685 to get in there. So that shouldn't be too terribly bad for most players. You can just do your expert roulette, do a couple of extra ones, and you can get a couple of pieces at 700 from the tome vendor. So it shouldn't be too hard to get up there and be ready for it. Then we have the AAC light heavyweight being added to Stone Sea Sky. So basically you can just test your TPS, see if you can actually complete the fight in terms of rotation and understanding your job well enough to do enough damage. Then a new target ring has been added. While under the effect of directional disregard, enemy target rings will take on a distinct new shape. This indicates that directional requirements do not need to be met when attacking these targets. So essentially they're just giving a slight update to the close ringed circles around enemies for their hitbox, showing you in a little bit more, not flashy, but just a more visible way that you don't have positionals. So say if you're in front of a large enemy, or if you're in a pack of a couple of them, it's a lot easier to see that they don't have the opening in the back of the ring. Then we also have the raid gear. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't like this. I was talking to somebody about it when I first saw it. It really looks like cheesy WWE wrestling gear copy pasted with some form of already done Gunbreaker gear. Because if you look at some of these like tops, they literally just look like they're artifact gear from a Gunbreaker with some flashy new details on them. Then you have like a few masks, some hats. You have a hood for this one. I'm usually iffy about raid sets anyways in terms of looks. Very few have I been like super excited about and ready to just jump on board with for glam reasons, even more so than just having them for eye level and having them for BIS. But this will get slammed over almost immediately, as sad as that is. I'm just not very impressed this time. But this is again just the first raid here, so I'm not like super scared of anything being awful. The furnishing stone partition cannot be dyed. I don't know for sure what all that means, but to you housing people, that there's you a little change. Requirements to access the script exchange and Tuliolo have been changed. Before, players must first speak with Rodina in Solution 9. Now players must complete the quest Go West Craftsman before they can access script exchange. New minions. I'm sad we didn't get like any kind of teaser. I wish they would add like blurred images of them so we can kind of have like a who's that Pokemon kind of feel to it. I think that'd be really fun. Now system changes to reduce congestion. The area newly added in patch 7.01 will be split into multiple instances. And then the multiple field instances implemented in 7.0 have been changed as follows. Tuliolo is going from 3 to 2. Rokopacha is going from 6 to 3. Kuzamuuka is going from 6 to 3. So basically they're just reducing these to make room to add them for the new area being added for 7.01. Old Charlene will now no longer be separated in multiple instances. We'll only have one for it. New achievements and titles have been added. The trophies and achievements have been added for PlayStation 5 and Xbox. And then we'll also have new music and sound effects being added. I won't read through all the resolved issues. There's a lot to read through. I haven't really had any buggy issues or any issues that weren't like working properly. So I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not 100% sure what's really been happening with all these. And then the last thing, non-issues, an issue where fade out timing is incorrect for an equestrian roll added in 7.01, but nothing too crazy, nothing insane. I'm just very, very excited, mostly because of light heavyweight being added and the astrologian and viper changes. These two are probably my most anticipated and well-received changes. I'm just hoping that they don't somehow make viper into a clunky job by working on its busyness, because at the end of the day I don't feel like it is too busy. I just feel like it has a higher skill floor, which is something that I feel like the game needs in terms of having variety. Because if we homogenize too much, it's just going to make everything feel stale and bland and feel like you're just playing the same job with a different skin. I would love to have a civil conversation about all these in the comment section. So if you'd like to talk about it, feel free. I'm very excited to see where Monk ends up after all these changes. I'm hoping it feels a bit more comfy in terms of damage, just because apparently it was falling behind quite a bit with how many potency changes they got. Paladin, Warrior, Dark Knight, and Gunbreaker also shouldn't have any issues holding enmity now, thankfully. I have seen it multiple times where I have ripped ads off of the tank during my burst phase on Viper, and I've gotten used to basically pressing Bloodbath in every trash mob that we go through, just because I have been ripping it so often and I don't want to risk it. And also I've been getting hit by more AoEs because I cannot see what's going on, because I'm having to basically stand underneath every enemy to get my generations to go off and for the Twin Blood and Twin Bite skills. 3 alms sounds like more than it actually is when you're having to deal with trash packs. So I'm so glad that they actually upped this to 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited about these changes, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.